Okay, so welcome to this lab session for the Cisco CyberOps. By now, we believe every student would have gotten through the slides. It's about 28 of it. You must have gotten through this 28. There's just a little bit of repetition. That's why you are saying 30 here. It's actually 29. These fighters in the war against cybercrime is repeated here. Then you have attacker and their tools. That should be, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Attackers and their tools. Yes, 13. So this is repeated. So if you remove that, you have 28. So it's 28 slides in all. And this is the course. So this is the course. Let me open it now. netacad.com. So today I'm going to be going through this lab. So I decided to treat these labs first because all of these labs are not hands-on, so to say. So most of them are research-based. So this is the particular course we are looking at currently. So we're looking at Cisco CyberOps Associate. So it's intermediate course, is an instructor-led course on the Cisco Academy. So your goal in this course is that you want to be able to monitor and detect and also respond to cybersecurity threats. So some of the skills you are going to pick up from this training is the ability to use Linux, the ability to use some SOC tools, the ability to be able to do some information security policy documents, your ability to be able to do some security awareness training, either for your team and for you to plan some sort of incidents, and also for you to be able to do basic digital forensics. So that's what is communicated in this course. So look at some of the skill sets: detect and respond to security incidents, gain job-ready practical setting skills in cybersecurity operations, develop critical thinking, right? Then, of course, prepare for your certification. So you have a badge at the end of the day. I got mine, I think sometime, that should be at least a year or two ago. So I think about 2 years ago. So it tells your skill set and, of course, which you can share on LinkedIn and several other platforms. Okay, now, like I said, you have that amount of labs. And if you check the labs, you see that we have done about 18 of them is in the channel. But look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This 7, I will just tap them, cut them, create a new folder for them. Lab day 1. Right? Okay, I think they are already open. Let me close them. Let me close them. I'll reopen them just to do some file management. Try again. So this 7, we'll call it lab day 1. So 18 of these are already in the channel. So by tomorrow, I will sort out the ones you don't have on the channel, and we're going to sort them out. So we might do every day throughout this week or next week, or we might do every other day. So by this night, before I go to bed, by midnight, I will sectionalize the lab so that you know what you are going to be considering every day throughout this lab session. So for today, we'll pick out and see how to trash out these 7 labs. So if you see these 7 labs, they are basically research-based. Now, I normally tell my students that if you want to be a security analyst, you need to understand that there are some things that are expected of you. So you need 33% of knowledge. I don't know if you're seeing my screen. 33% of knowledge, 33%. Let me zoom this out. Of 33% of knowledge, 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 33% of kn your ability to be able to use tools, tricks, techniques, and be able to understand some tips when it comes to cybersecurity. Then another 33%, you need that for being able to do countermeasures, right? Being able to do vulnerability assessment, being able to do pen testing, right? So though this is not a pen testing course, this is a SOC analyst course, but in cybersecurity generally, this is what is expected of you. So 1% is going to be that residual risks that is always going to be there. If you check everything, you're going to get 100%. So if you want to be a good security analyst, understand that it's not just you being able to use tools. Also, it's not just you being able to know all the book knowledge available. No, it's not always also for you to just know how to know what to do when you have an issue, countermeasures. So you need a combination of all of these three. So that's what makes you a complete security analyst. So in gaining knowledge, research comes very handy, because most of the times you're not going to experience everything that you will need as your skill set to be able to mitigate attack. That's where research comes in. Now, if you check the lab 1.06, you're going to see that it's about a video about top hackers show how it is done. So there's an objective. All of the labs have objective. So you are told to search for this TEDx video, right? So I will just highlight it this way. I will go to Google and place it. That should be a YouTube video. And I can just click on this. So you're expected to watch this particular video. When you learn to code, you can build a career that fits your life. In this lab, you're expected to watch this particular video. It's a TEDx show, and you should not be able to fill this question. So you just need your phone or your PC with internet access. That is all.
I get bored sometimes.
Right? So it's a 17 minutes video. It's a TEDx show. So it just tells you how hackers, how they think. Because we normally say that for you to be a hacker, you need to be able to think like a hacker, right? So part one of the instruction for this lab is that you need to locate the video. I've done that. You need to watch the discussions. Then you need to start answering the questions. So I expect everyone by tomorrow or in the next 48 hours, you are to return this your lab filled with the answers. Now, you see, this is my instructor slide. So there's a guide here. Answer will vary based on the hack chosen. So you're going to answer what is the vulnerability being exploited. You're going to watch that video. You fill your answer here. What information, data, or control can be gained by a hacker exploiting this vulnerability? So he has already explained that. So you're going to watch that. You are going to fill here. Aside research skills, one other very important skill set that is knowledge-based is technical writing. Because as you move on in your cybersecurity career, you're going to find yourself doing things like penetration testing, things like reports, cybersecurity reports. So you can't learn how to do reports if you cannot learn from what has happened in the time past. Then adapt it to wherever you have currently so that you can prepare a better report for your client or for your organization. Then how is the hack performed? So you have to watch that video and tell me how the hack was performed. So you have to send this to my email, which is vgroup@gmail.com. Send all answered labs. Right, so all of these theoretical labs, it's for you. So the ones you're going to be given assistance for is the labs that have to do with the softwares. Then what do you think this particular hack, how do you think this particular hack can be mitigated? So you give an answer, then you submit this sheet. And that is the end of lab 106. Anybody have any question before we move to the next lab? So you have to watch that 17 minutes video, do complete the sheet and send to my email. Or hold on, once I'm done with the training later in the night, I will send a dedicated email for all your answers. Maybe I will create cyberops at soutechventures.com. That will be better. I will create these emails so everybody you send your labs here. Okay, anybody have any question before I move to the next lab? You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
No question from my side as far as this lab is concerned.
So this is a very straightforward lab. It's a research-based lab. So I expect every student to do that and return to me in the next 48 hours.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, please.
I'm just joining now. I didn't know. I didn't get the earlier information.
Okay, I will drop the recording in the group.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so the second lab is 1.1.5. So this lab is about installing your virtual machine, right? We've posted this lab before now, and there's a video also on the channel that describes this. So let me see if I can look for it. YouTube.com playlist. How many of us have set up our lab? I just need answers.
Sure, I have.
Yes, I've set it.
Who else? Who else? Okay, who have not set up his or her lab so that we can assist you?
I've not, sir.
Okay, have you gone through the 28 modules, the videos? Have you?
No, not all of them, sir.
Not all of them. Okay, good. Any other person who have not set up his or her labs? What's it called? Setting up the virtual machine. That is this very first tutorial.
I haven't set up my lab. Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening. So have you gone through the videos? That is the slides?
No, I haven't.
Wow. When did you join the training?
When you added me to the group.
I think this is a new person. This is the first time I'm seeing her here.
Yes, we have two groups here. We have the training students that take forensic training. They also have some new students that are in our other program. So they're not in your group, but they have their separate group. So they're kind of new. So we'll see how to take them along. So right on, you said, when were you added?
When this group was created.
Come again?
When this group was created.
That means that you were not following. Did you take the exams?
Yeah, yes, I did.
You did? So
yes,
how did you take the exams if you didn't go through the slides?
I read the handouts you sent.
That's the slides now.
Models.
That's the slides. So you make a comment in your training group so that you can go through these videos, download the materials. I already dropped the link to the virtual file so that you can set up your machine and follow us through these labs. Any other person that have not set up his or lab? Any other person? Okay. So for those that are not set up their labs, their machine, virtual machines, so please indicate in your training group and so that you can get support for it. That's what this lab 115 is about. So it just tells you how to download. I already dropped the link to download this Security Onion and this CyberOps workstation. That's where we're going to do most of the labs. Then I think that's just about that. So if you've not set up your own, before tomorrow next, download it and make sure you have set it up. If you need help, there's a video also that walks you through setting up the lab. Okay. Okay, so that will be all for 1.15. Any other question with respect to setting up the lab or the machines, virtual machines? Okay, so I know it's maybe some of our students that are joining us through the other program, they might have issues. So we'll see how to fix that within the next 48 hours. Okay, for the other students that have been on the training for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'd say 2, 3 weeks, most of you should have done this. Okay, the next lab is 1.16, Cybersecurity Case Studies. So this is also a research-based How many of us know about the Twitter attack? Anybody? Twitter attack.
I'm not aware.
2020, Twitter attack, 2020. Anybody?
I think I have a little bit of background to that.
Okay, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Some major accounts, basically accounts of subscriber were compromised, and
Which kind of subscribers?
big shots. Let me put that.
Big shots like who? Bill
What's
Gates,
this? Bill Gates, yes.
Elon Musk, Obama, and quite a lot of
Their accounts were compromised, and
so
that's a breach.
good. So you call that a breach? Now I will post this updates, this security incident that happened in the training group. I'm going to find time and we're going to discuss it. Now, you see, in cybersecurity, there's what we call intelligence. So you cannot build intelligence out of nothing. So remember, we're talking about forensics, we're talking about incident response. A lot of the things that you're going to do in the future is going to be based on what has already happened. Good. So as a cybersecurity analyst, one of your big job is to be doing what? Research. Why? If you know what happened and how that was mitigated, then it can help you to better position your company to better protect the digital assets they have. Look at what we know now. This was at July 30, 2020, during pandemic, and what we're doing to protect our service. So if you can learn from Mr. A, let's call it experience, then that thing doesn't have to happen to you. That's the role of research. And that's the focus of this cybersecurity case study. Government, businesses, and individual users are increasing the targets of cyber attacks, and experts predict that these attacks are likely to increase in the future. Cybersecurity education is a top international priority, as high-profile cybersecurity-related incidents raise the fear that attack could threaten the global economy. If you check this attack that happened on Twitter, somebody created an account and said what did he say? He was Elon Musk. I've forgotten the story slightly. And he posted Bitcoin or a particular wallet and tell people to donate to it, people to send, I think it was Elon Musk, so when this Dogecoin was kind of raining, people to send money to him and he's going to duplicate it. Most celebrities do that. Now imagine Elon Musk telling you that just send $1,000, I'm going to give you like 3 times of it. It's for charity, blah, blah, blah. What would you do? Most people fall for it. So we call that social engineering. So in you understanding how things have happened in the past, it can help you better plan and train your team. So you are training both your team from the very lowest person in the cadre to the very highest person. Because like this attack happened, if the team, the intern or the staff that was compromised had some good knowledge, this is not going to happen. So that's why research is very key. Education, cybersecurity education, cybersecurity awareness. If I have time sometime next week, I will do, after our labs is done, I will do maybe a class on information security policy document development. Or I will just do it on WhatsApp. Because one of the first things a cybersecurity analyst should do if he comes into an organization, either consulting or doing whatever, is to first help them get a policy document. You know, companies have dress policy, work policy, network policy, HSC policy. Companies have several kinds of policies. For cybersecurity, we talk about what? Information security policy. Very, very important. So your information security policy tells you what you should do with respect to your network, your password, your cloud applications, your web applications, your server, your network, everything. So I will do the different case studies so that you see what the process should be like if you need to create a policy document. Once you create that policy document, one of the last steps you are doing is to do what? Is to educate. You cannot create all of those do's and don'ts and policies without telling the employees, without telling the staff, without telling the intern, the consultant that will interface with those websites, networks, and whatever that you have, how to interact with them. Because once that does not happen, there's no how, even if you spend millions of dollars getting the best assets, it can always be compromised. So here, you are conducting a search of high-profile cyber attacks, and you are writing an analysis of the cyber attack. This is a classical example of an analysis of an attack. So I will drop this in the group at the end of the training. So you have to look at this, and that will help you to what? Write yours. So for this, you just need your laptop, your mobile, and internet access. So what are the kind of cyber attacks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So you can use your browser. You don't need to get into your virtual machine. It's optional. Right? So what are you going to be doing? You want to tell me who were the victims of the attack? What technologies and tools were used in the attack? When did the attack happen within the network? What systems were targeted? What was the motivation? Another thing you should understand when it comes to cybersecurity is there's what we call the hack equation. So for any hack to happen, there must be a motive, there must be a vulnerability, there must be a, what is it called? A method. That's only when you have a hack. Without these three things, you don't have a hack. If there's a vulnerability in a system, and somebody has not found a method to get by it, you don't have a hack. Most of the times, a hack starts from motive. That's why the cybersecurity analyst, you have to also understand what the motive. I've fixed some applications that were hacked, and one of the CEOs was like telling me, I think this was done by one of our competitors, blah, 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 blah. Now, he's trying to say that the motive is to cause them business discontinuity. They want their website to be down. They want their website to be hacked so that they will not be able to operate. And of course, people are going to look at alternatives. It's just like Three Crowns and Picnic. It's just like Dangote Cement and Boas. It's just like Firefox and Opera Mini or Opera or Safari. So these are competitors. So if one goes down, what happens? It's just like today, if Facebook is hacked, people will go to Twitter and spend time on Twitter, at least for that, and they're going to lose a lot of revenue. So when you're trying to do cybersecurity, you need to understand what the motive is. Very, very key. So you are going to pick one or two of these attacks, and you're going to do what? You're going to tell me what the motive is. This is going to build your mind. This is going to be able to tell you how, because we say to beat a hacker, you have to be one. So we say to beat a hacker, you need to be one. So until you can think like a hacker, until you can think like how the unethical or the black hat attacker is thinking, of course, you cannot protect the system. So these labs are very, very crucial and very, very important. So don't take them, oh no, it is not about tools, it's not about whatever. If you go for an interview, for instance, it's going to be a combination of your technical knowledge and how you can adapt it. Mostly people will not ask you about which tool are you going to use. No. Because the tool you are going to be used, it's always going to be something that you can learn in the next 24 or 48 hours. Like I was telling a staff today, when we were doing a Zoom call around 4 p.m., I told him that there are some things that if you just go to YouTube, if you just type on the internet, you're going to see how to use them. Maybe you just need to call a friend or chat up somebody and they'll put you through some things you don't understand. But you cannot build your wealth of knowledge and how you can adapt to different scenarios overnight. You cannot. That's why you see that some exams, you call them open book exams. Why are they called open books exams? Because it's not about just what you see on the internet verbatim. but it's about how you can apply your knowledge. So to beat a hacker, you need to be one. You need to be able to think like one. So you need to be able to understand the motivation in each of those cases, right? What was the outcome of the attack? Stolen data, ransom, system damage. So that is the what? The motive. So most of the times, somebody might want to hack a company's network, and their motive is not to steal anything. Their motive is they just want to cause obstruction, or sorry, disruption. Somebody else might want to hack a website, and his motive is not to steal anything. It's a job application website. He doesn't just want people to apply for that job role. Another person might want to hack a website and is interested in stealing the database information if he can get access to that. Another person wants to steal, another person wants to hack a particular website. His goal is to make sure that he's a competitor and he wants to make sure that website is down so that people start looking for alternatives. So there are several reasons why you have an attack. So for every attack, one of the first things you want to think about, either when you're doing forensics or when you're trying to mitigate the attack or when you are trying to plan or while you're trying to do what we call lessons learned, is motive. So the motive is going to help you adapt your information security policy document, because you don't only have a flaw, a vulnerability in your IT systems, you can have a flaw in your InfoSec policy document. So what can be a flaw? A flaw, a vulnerability in an information security policy document can be that, okay, before now, if we have a new staff, that same day, they are always giving access to most of the platforms and creating an account. That can be a vulnerability. What about staff that are on probation? What happens after 2 months when they don't qualify or they just don't want to work there? They just want to go through that probation to better understand the IT systems of the company. So a better information security policy document can be that you want to utilize need to know, or what we call least privilege, so that you only provide them minimal access. Once they become full staff and they now sign your NDAs, they bring in their references, they sign agreements, then they can now get full access. That vulnerability is with the policy. This is what the policy says. This is what the law looks like what is expected, and there's a vulnerability there. So when a hack happens, or an ex-employee or an ex-intern or an ex-staff that was on probation before he or she became full-time staff, if anything happens, we will go back to this information security policy document and we will update it. Take, for instance, if I say information, InfoSec policy document, bank, file type, PDF. So if you check this information security policy document, you find out that it has a version number. Okay, this does not have. Let me get another one. Okay, CBN has one. But since this is abridged, you see version number. Right? Who can see the version number? 8.0.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yes, I can see it.
It then means that there are several things that happened to CBN that made them to keep adjusting and improving this policy document. Now, this is just for the public. They will have, okay, maybe this is just because of compliance. They are going to have, this is 2021. They are going to have, that's why I see this is out. This is something that is for the public. They are going to have an internal, more detailed information security policy document with its own version numbers. So they had version 1, maybe something happened, there was a breach, some employee or that. They have version 1.1. If it is small changes, you say point something. But if it is big change, you have a new number. Most of the times, if it's within the same year, you can say 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. If it's a major change, you now say 9.0. You move to the next number. Let me see if I can get another one. Wow, this is very big. This still does not have a version number. So these are some of the don'ts you don't do, except you're just trying to do a draft. Every information security policy document should have a number, right? Except it's just for external stuff, not what you're going to be using internally. Awesome. 2022, this must be very recent. Look at it. IT Security Policy 2023. See the content. Does it have a version number? Okay, look at it. 13. Okay, this is the date, right? It doesn't have a version, but it has a date. So you see, this is I will drop this in the group. This is an example of a policy document. So this tells about awareness, segregation of duties or separation of duties, risk assessment, protection of IT assets. Typically, when it comes to tech, what we want and what we don't want, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, right? So very, very important. So motive is very key when it comes to any cyber attack. Okay, so you fill this and you give me answers. What was the outcome of the attack? So you fill that and send that to me. I will drop the email that you're going to send these answers in the next 48 hours. Any question with respect to this case study is very straightforward, because also every cybersecurity analyst should learn based on case studies. I think in our certified ethical hacker class, there's a module in that class that has to do with previous attacks. So I normally tell students to go and research about 2 attacks that has happened in Nigeria, one in the banking sector, one in the educational institute. Give me like 2 or 3 attacks that has happened across Africa. Tell me 2 attacks, cybersecurity attacks that has happened, maybe 1 in each continent. Once you read these stuff and these case studies, I don't mean the one that the one that the newspaper guys carry around. No, I mean technical case study based evaluation of an attack. That's the kind of one I want you to read. Take for instance, if you say bank attack case study in Nigeria, right? So impact of financial Nigeria police boss cybersecurity operation in 10 banks. You can read about this if it's very detailed and talked about how the hack happened, why it happened, what was the vulnerability. Those are the things that you're concerned about.
The tools that were used,
about,
is it included?
Yeah, of them, they will tell you, okay, that this bank did this bank is vulnerable in this, users should be able to do this, users should not be able to do this. These are the things that build your wealth of knowledge in terms of doing what? In terms of doing this for your customers. Because you cannot provide solutions to your customer if you don't know, if there's nothing up in your head. And because you're not going to be able to experience so many things within a short time of 1 or 2 years, you need to rely on what? Case studies, right? So the case studies are very, very crucial. So you make it a duty to read about case studies, read about stuff, how they happen, why did it happen, all of those kind of stuff. Okay, let's move to the next lab. The next lab is 1.16. This is high-profile cyber attacks. So this is a case study also. I don't know, have we done this? Okay, yes, we've done this. I think maybe I opened twice. So learning the details of an attack, 1.23. Learning the details of an attack. Now, for every attack to happen, you must have learned at this point that it follows 5 stages. So we say recon, we say scanning, We'll say gaining access. We'll say maintaining access. If I spell that correctly, we'll say clearing tracks. What this means is that as a cybersecurity analyst, listen closely. Let me put this close to this. What you want to do is that you're asking yourself, reconnaissance, what do I need to know? What do I need to know about reconnaissance? What is the definition of reconnaissance? Or recce, like the military guys will call it. What are the different types of reconnaissance? Right? Scanning. Sorry, let's continue with reconnaissance. What are the different tools I can use to do reconnaissance? What are the tricks involved in reconnaissance? What are the techniques involved in reconnaissance? What are the tips with respect to reconnaissance? What are the countermeasures for the different reconnaissance that have been done? What
By
are the
attackers,
ways
right?
Yes, what are the ways I can do vulnerability assessment, which is still like a reconnaissance? How do I pen test what I have seen in my reconnaissance, if it is hackable or not? So in reconnaissance, we talk about phishing, social engineering. We talk about Google hacking. We talk about
Tailgating.
tailgating. All of those things are under social engineering. So social engineering has tailgating, eavesdropping, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, smishing, all of those. They are still under, what's it called? They are under social engineering. Social engineering is just one way to do reconnaissance. So Google hacking is another. Then WHOIS is another. Website reconnaissance is another.
WHOIS is a reconnaissance as well.
Yes, it's a reconnaissance method.
Wow, that's nice. What about lookup?
We call lookup is part of website reconnaissance. So for instance, if you're using a tool like Netcraft, I don't know if I have it on this system. Look at it here. So this is like you doing website footprinting. If I click on site report, it's going to give me lookup details also. Right? It's going to give me lookup details. And of course, at times, WHOIS can also give you lookup details. So reconnaissance scanning. So your knowledge base is, you want to understand all of this as it pertains this. So for every attack, that is this hack, for every hack, is going to go through this process. So once the person has decided the motive, the person will start trying to get peripheral information. The person will start using scanning tools. The person will now start trying to gain access. The person will now start trying to maintain access. The person will now start trying to clear tracks. But before the person can do this, the person starts with what? Vulnerability. It's only when the person have done vulnerability through reconnaissance and scanning, that's when the person can now know a particular method, then start doing this too. So in this particular lab, you are trying to understand what the details of an attack, what is it like, what it is like. So I'm going to first know what is IoT.
Internet of Things.
I don't mean just Internet of Things. Can somebody tell me something a little bit detailed about Internet of Things?
Yeah, Internet of Things has to do with making as much as any device and gadget, as many devices and gadgets internet enabled. For example, there are some homes that their dishwasher is internet enabled, television, like these are smart TVs is one of example of device with a IoT mechanism, like for example, gates and CCTV camera in homes and other stuffs. So Internet of Things has to do with
Yes, correct. So what it means when we say Internet of Things, we're trying to say that things, devices, right? Your fridge, your bed, your AC, your door, your TV. Most of the times we have smart TVs now. And the smart TV, like my Hisense, I've even removed the app from my phone. I could what do you call it again? I could like watch something on my phone on the TV, or I could shoot something from my phone on the TV, or I can switch off the TV from the phone. That kind of thing. Or you see some cameras now that you can watch over your phone. How many of us have seen that?
Yeah.
Mr. Ben, have you seen that? Prince, have you seen that? Sophia, have you seen that? Ben, have you seen that? Internet of Things.
I use it.
Aha, good. So we're saying that things want to be able to control things over the internet. So I started a series on my channel. As usual, I got very busy. And I post. So when I have time, I will continue the series. Cisco have a complete paid course on Internet of Things, connecting things using Raspberry Pi, using Linux, using Python script, and the rest. So because as a cybersecurity analyst, you see, that's why we tell students that if you want to do cybersecurity, there's no rush. You need to master some tech basics because that is going to help you. If you don't master some of those basics, I don't mean just theoretical knowledge, at least be able to use some of these things. It will help you grasp most of these concepts very, very fast. Now, you want to do a research and analyze IoT application vulnerabilities. So I think you open these 3 links, 1, 2, 3. Then you let us know what vulnerability is. Then who might exploit it? Why does the vulnerability exist? What could be done to limit? Later on in this course, we are going to learn risks. You must have learned that in the theoretical aspect. We're not going to be seeing that in the labs again. You learned different types of risks and how you can mitigate risks. You also learned about the metrics in risk assessment. That is the mean time of recovery, mean time of failure, all of those metrics. Very, very important when you are planning your risks, doing risk management. Because you want to understand what are the different things you want to do to like reduce the impact of those risks. That is where countermeasures come in. So you see, the job of an analyst, it's big and it's also small if you can put everything into, if you can summarize, which I'm trying to do here, that you need knowledge, you need tools, tricks, and techniques. You also need to understand countermeasures. Because if a client calls you, what the client is mostly asking is not which tool are you going to use, or all the knowledge you have from Cambridge or from the UK or from Nigeria or from online learning or from Udemy or Coursera or CompTIA or EC Council or whatever. That's not what the client is concerned about. The clients want a solution. He wants a fix. And you should know your fix, your possible fix, even before you get to your client. So your fix should be in your head. Then you are now going to look at your scenario at hand and now know what are the possible ways you can actually do countermeasures for the client. Okay, so that's about that lab. So it's still a research-based lab. So this research, you should be turning back all of this lab in 48 hours. So tomorrow we are going to pause. I'll allow you to send all of these labs. Very important before we now get to the next set of labs. So what's the difference between black hat, white hat, and gray hat? Sophia.
White hackers are ethical hackers.
Mm-hmm.
While the black hackers are the threat actors, the bad guys.
Okay.
Then
Finish up.
Then the gray hackers are they are not black, they are not white.
Because they are gray.
They have both characteristics.
So an example of a gray hat hacker is a disgruntled employee that was previously, or an ex-employee, somebody that had access to some assets and maybe gone rogue, or somebody that is actually doing some things are not to ultimately harm, maybe to prove some point, or to still maybe report back to the organization, but not following ethical principles. So that's why you call them gray hat hackers. Now, who can tell me what are attack surfaces? Prince. So Sophia said threat actors. So who can tell me about attack surfaces?
Vulnerability.
What are what?
Vulnerability. Am I correct?
Attack surfaces. Try again.
Okay, attack surfaces. Surface. Okay, sorry.
Yes. And give me examples. Give me a case study. Give me an example.
Network attack.
So what would
For
be
example,
the attack surfaces of a network?
Attack surface could be a system, network, or application, or an organization.
So for a network attack, the attack surface is going to be the
yes. Let
login
me.
page.
Sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Victor. Let me
Yes.
just try my knowledge. Even what I've been reading is correct. For network attack, some of the times the attacker, that is the threat actor, floods the network with nodes or with a payload so as to disrupt the network availability
So you are
of
talking
the
about
server. I
you
don't
are
know if
talking about sorry, you are talking about the attack itself. I am asking about the attack surfaces. It's like asking you if you are going to, sorry to use the example, if you're going to have an injury while running, where are the surfaces? Where are the possible points of entry? Where are the possible points where you are going to have that injury? Those are the attack surfaces. So you can say head, you can say leg, you can say bum, you can say your elbow. Those are the different areas. For a network,
Okay.
it's going to, yes, Sophia, you want to try?
Okay.
Such attack can come through accessing this thing, insecure web browsers, using insecure web browsers.
Okay, you guys
Yeah.
are describing the attack.
Okay. Let me try. Maybe
Okay, wait,
in
hold on,
ports,
hold on before
I
you
think
try.
okay.
Innocent. I need to hear your voice. Okay.
Hello.
Once you are done, Azaya, you write on.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
No, I know that you are here now. I asked the question. I need answers.
Okay, regarding the attack surfaces, Hazen. Yeah, based on your explanation, it can be on
For a
the
network attack.
devices.
For a network
Okay,
attack.
on the network attack,
Yeah,
it
what are the
can be
surfaces?
on our network attack. It can be from our access points. Yeah, starting from our access points.
So let me accept access point. So when you say access point, so it can be, to keep it very simple, just say your Wi-Fi login. That is one.
Yeah, our Wi-Fi login. If
Or
our like
your Wi-Fi
our
login page.
SSID.
Yes.
Can I chip in, sir?
Yes, Isaiah, right on.
No, this is Sprint.
Okay, right on, Prince.
Okay, so for the access points, I think physical locations such as say data centers.
Yes, good. The server room where you have those things, because somebody can exploit non-technical attack method. So somebody can go there physically through social engineering, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes,
is a
sir.
surface.
What about open ports as well?
Open ports, correct. That's the surface also.
What
You can
about
also have
IP
IP is just a
IP attack?
IP. No, that's the type of attack. IP is just an identifier. So you can classify that as a surface through which an attack is going to happen.
I think it should be more of software interfaces.
Good.
you can have
Any
attacks
software
also.
interface that users can use to access the network also is an attack surface. So we have
Yes.
listed the SSID, the login page. You know, so if you go to a hotel now, there's what to call a captive portal, right? This is what you call a captive portal.
Yes, sir.
Network captive portal. You use MikroTik, you use the software, you use something like this. Once you come to once you enter the hotel, they'll give you complimentary, awesome companies, right? Most of us have seen this, right? So the Wi-Fi is free. Sorry, the Wi-Fi does not have a password. Once you double click it, it now opens your browser and tells you to put the username and password that is assigned to you. Once you put it, you cannot hit enter, then you cannot have access to internet. So this is a captive portal, right? So this can be an attack surface, true or false? Because this is a point of entry. So we mentioned the SSID, the open ports, the what's it called? The captive portal or login page. Somebody mentioned the server room where we have those devices. Who have something else to add before we move on?
We can also have hardware attacks. And we can also have hardware as an attack surface.
Hardware. So which of the hardware now? So is it going to be the system itself? Hope you know that if somebody have access to your system, the person can know the password of the router you are connected to.
Yes.
Yes, when you're talking about
Talking about like physical access to say the
Yes.
router now.
So all of the things you are mentioning now tells you what the process is like, right? Because you are trying to visualize, you're trying to understand how does this thing happen. Is only when you can understand what is possible to, or what is likely to happen, which you call a threat. That is only when you can start planning.
Okay, I think another attack surface should be, I think, user accounts, attacking passwords and authentication processes.
Okay, when you see user account, I'm trying to picture it. I'm trying to think how
Hacking passwords, hacking accounts.
except there's a place where we
Wouldn't
record
that fall
these
into
things.
database?
Except to have, I've consulted from some companies and they have this, they have a notepad where, because the passwords are very, very strong. So they normally have a paper that is even laminated where they have those passwords. Now, but it's kept in a safe, like when you want to, as a consultant, when you come in to do stuff, so the IT guy will come, he's holding the paper in his hand, he enters the password to the system, grant you access, you cannot do what you want to do then. So that's an attack surface, right? If those things are in a digital form or in a physical form, because somebody can spy on it, somebody can snap it, somebody can distract the guy, and right, all of those kind of things. So those are what we call attack surface. So you should be able to understand the difference between motive, vulnerability, method, the hack itself, then the surfaces. Sophia mentioned, what was it called? That's what brought us into this place. She mentioned threat actors. At times we call these threat actors the attackers themselves, as in the people that are responsible for the threats that we have, right? So this lab has to do with visualizing the black hat. They help.
So I have a question. Yes, concerning the attack surfaces. I was reading some time back about it, and I saw they also mentioned human factors.
Yes,
And
that's where social engineering comes in.
Yes, for social engineering, yes. You know, I couldn't really get how that could be an attack surface.
But you understand it now?
Yes.
Good. So the attack surface is the number of all possible points where an authorized user can access a system and extract data. All the possible points. So when you are planning how you're going to mitigate an attack, when you are planning countermeasures, you're also going to be thinking about what are the possible means. Right? Very, very key, very, very important. Okay, so for this attack, you just need to use your web browser. What is the lab here? Cybercrime cost individuals and companies over $3.5 billion 2019. Government. In this lab, we create 3 hypothetical cyber attacks, each with an organization, an attack, and a motive. Are you seeing there?
Yes.
An attack and a motive. Without a motive, mostly. Now, what are different types of motives that somebody can, an attacker can? So we say,
Disgruntled.
because of time, let me just get an image. Attack motives. So I'm just explain very fast. I'm seeing this one even did a lot of, so political. Who can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Good. Are you seeing? So the reasons is not here. When you are planning to mitigate them too, you have to consider this stuff. If you don't consider them, you cannot win. That's why you see some cybersecurity experts who say, when it comes to conventional warfare, they'll tell you go and negotiate with the terrorist. Some will say, it's not money that is the problem, it's the ideology. Let us see how to rehabilitate them. Some people are saying, no, it's not even about all of this. It's about they're just tired. Let us engage them. Let us give them skill acquisition and all the rest. So the motive determines how the attack is going to be conducted, which methodology will be used. Very, very key. Very, very key. So that's what this lab is about. So
Yeah,
you can use your web browser or whatever, and you just hypothetically, right? You pick any cybersecurity, any attacker or any attack, look at the motive, look at the attack, then you now start answering. So this one now, you have to do a lot of thinking, you have to do a lot of research to be able to get a case study. And okay, for this particular lab 1.34, let's all use the Twitter stuff. I'll drop it in the group. Where is the Twitter stuff? Right? Are we together?
yes.
Everybody, for lab 134, you are going to use this scenario. So this scenario, you are going to use it to get the attacker, the organization, the motive, the method, the target and vulnerability used against the business. How could this attack be prevented and mitigated? So I've given you one, which is Twitter. So you pick a second one. And let's see, you can pick a third one yourself also. So it's 3, yeah? So for one of it, use Twitter. Then for the remaining 2, you can pick any 2 attacks that have happened. Then you feel that. That will help you understand what how the hack happens, what the process is like. Very important. Who have questions, please? So I'll drop the Twitter page. I'll drop the Twitter page on the group so that you're able to do this particular lab. Who have a question, please?
Yeah, Mr. Innocent, Mr. Victor.
Yeah, I'm between.
I just want to ask a question. I think it's not directly related to this lab today, but I just want to know. I saw something on Twitter about a guy. That guy is a cybersecurity person expert. Shall let me put it that way. So he said he's running a project of rehabilitating all these Yahoo boys.
Okay.
that to put their skills into cybersecurity. That so, do you think the motive? Do you think the motive is right? Well, you're talking about motive and the
So
motivation.
when it comes to helping anybody that is that has fallen out from the norm, there is no right, there's no wrong, right? So you just approach control measures put in place and all of that. So the harm that these guys cause and the negative impact to the nation is grief. It's much. So maybe training them on. I don't think it's also. I don't think it's also just about cybersecurity. I think it's just digital skills. So it's if you can train terrorists, rehabilitate them. So there's nothing wrong in training Yahoo boys or internet fraudsters and the rest. So the thing is just uh how balanced can it be, right? It's just like if you give a scholarship to 100%, not the 100% will take it serious. In the 100%, you still see some that would take that advantage and go use it for. We've trained students before in the past that have done stuff they're not supposed to do, right? We've trained students that have cybersecurity that they will go hack their uncles, try to do stuff. We've trained students that have used the skill set they learned in programming in cybersecurity to do stuff they're not supposed to do. So most of the times you cannot control or you cannot tell what is going to be the aftermath of the decisions you make with respect to training people. And so you just do the part you're supposed to do. And in that 100, for instance, the internet fraudsters, you are going to have success stories from there. You are still going to have the ones that are still going to continue what they are doing. So it's a give or take. It's not about don't do it or but doing it is a good plus. So saying don't do it means that you are depriving those ones that would have turned out good. So there's no here or there. It's just to maximize the import of the program, the importance of the program, to maximize the benefits and to make sure that you have a good number of those persons turn out good. They just put a lot of checks. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much.
No big issue. So anybody have question with respect to lab 1.34? So you're using Twitter for one of the scenario. Remaining two scenarios are up to you. Prince, Sophia, Ben, Innocent, Isaiah, do you have questions with respect to this lab? You are turning this lab in the next 48 hours. So our next lab session is Wednesday, 6 p.m. So if you have questions with respect to this lab, ask now. So it's not when it's Wednesday, you now say, oh, I didn't understand this, I was not able to do this. These are very straightforward labs. Typically, you're not using
I'm
any
putting up the lab. So the first lab we have assignment is lab 1. So the second lab is lab 1.1.6. Another one is
all of the labs, all the 7 labs, you have to fill them and return.
Okay.
They don't have answers. Look at them. They don't have
all
answers.
those documents you sent earlier, sir, right?
Yes, all of these 7. That's what we are reviewing.
Okay, sir, I just want to confirm this. When will this
submission?
be available? Because I missed out on some part due to my network glitch.
Yes,
No, so
I'll drop the recording.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, Mr. Victor, please
when
can
is
you?
the deadline for the submission?
Come again.
I said, when is the deadline for the submission, sir?
Wednesday before 2 p.m.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, Henry.
Yeah, I don't know if you can send the labs to us so that we can know the lab we're working. There are 7 labs.
You already have it. There are 7 of them.
Yes, we have it already, but we just want to know, we have many labs. So just to know the labs we are working on.
I sent
most recent one sent to the group.
This 7 is in the group. Just check the group, you see it.
Okay. Let me check the group. Okay.
It's in the group.
Okay.
That is this one. That's the first theoretical labs. They don't have any tools in them.
Okay.
Yes.
I've seen it in the group.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen it.
top
Thank you.
hacker show how it is done. Installing virtual machines. So make sure that you have installed your virtual machine before Wednesday. Cybersecurity case studies, you fill it up, you fill it up, you fill it up. We're on this one now. Right? So you just
So, virtual machine, what operating system are we installing?
come again, you said what?
What operating system are we installing for the virtual machine, sir?
I don't understand.
You said that we should have installed our virtual machine. So, like, which is it? Just the virtual machine, the
Okay,
hypervisor that we're.
Isaiah,
Yes, sir.
I'll drop the lab document if you've not seen it. If you have questions, you can ask from the group since you are new. The CyberOps course have two virtual machines. So you install Virtual Oracle Box, then you install Security Onion and CyberOps workstation. So those are the two machines. And the guide is also on the group. I will drop the recording so that you can preview this where I introduce that. So that's lab 1.15. So this instruction is also on the group, so you can check it. You see the detailed guide about how to install your virtual machine. Then the files is also on the group. So if you have issues, you can let us know when you start installing it. Okay, let me see how to trash out the last one for this night. So becoming a defender. So this is about certifications. So if you want to become a defender, this is lab 2.25. If you want to be a defender, so what do you do? How do you go about it? What are some of the cybersecurity certifications? The certifications we call vendor neutral, and the certifications we call vendor specific. Right? So if you're taking a Cisco certification now, it's vendor specific. But since last 2 years, Cisco started expanding their horizon and making sure that their content doesn't just have only Cisco proprietary devices and the rest, except for their CCNA 1, 2, and 3, and of course their CCNP. Those are the tracks that are purely Cisco devices. The rest of the other certifications, they're adapting it. And good enough, Cisco have bought Splunk.
Wow.
I'm still trying to see how that unfolds. We hope as an academy, we're going to have access to some of these certifications programs. Some of them are going to be free. Some of them are going to be paid. Because Cisco...
When was that?
I think Cisco, Splunk, Cisco acquisition of Splunk. Okay, they are. Have they?
Splunk. That's it.
So if they've not done it,
September 2026.
So,
This is, I think it's maybe they are still at a talking stage or something.
okay. So they want to. I think they have not yet.
Okay.
For $28 billion. So if they do that, that's why I love Cisco when you compare it to other certification bodies. So it's only Cisco. I feel other certification bodies are also learning it. Like we're also a CompTIA accredited partner. I was speaking with I think the African director and some directors when it comes to CompTIA, telling them that what they should do with respect certification. Now, because Cisco does their stuff slightly different because they have an academy, then they have the certification. So the academy gives you all of the things you need to prepare for the certification. So you don't need to go buy one book. You don't need to go look for somebody to come and put you through. So if you have an accredited academy and you enroll for their course, so the course provides you everything you need to actually prepare for the certification. Then of course they have some free courses, like CyberOps, for instance, is paid, but they have some free trainings to like get your feet wet and get started. But some other certification bodies, they don't have that. So just the certification and the fee. So it's slightly different with Cisco. So if Cisco acquires Splunk, those Splunk have some trainings, but it's not delivered so well, if you ask me. So if Cisco acquires them, the nearest future, then they are going to now have Splunk courses. They are going to integrate that to most of their courses, and are going to have it in the LMS, and it's going to be always very, very, very well. I know most of us, for those of us that have access to the Cisco LMS, you see how planned and thorough the content is.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Very, very thorough. So you don't find certification bodies that have such kind of thing for their certifications. You don't. They just have an accredited book by a selected vendor. Then they call that the official guide. But Cisco goes ahead for all of the certifications in the LMS to have the platform by what is it called, by academy, to make sure that students have, with labs, students have complete content with respect to preparing for their exams. Okay, so for this very last one, it's about certifications. So Cisco is a vendor-centric, whereas certifications like CompTIA is not vendor-centric. Vendor-centric will mean that if you get the certification, if you are working in a company that's going to use a lot of Cisco devices, then you will need to have a Cisco certification. So one of the things to check, it's for instance, you say network security analyst jobs. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. Let's look at these three. Now let's look at what they need us to do, and let us look at what kind of certifications they want us to hold. Everybody see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Cybersecurity engineer, common variability assessment, scanning, reporting, very vague. Next.
Why did you say it's vague?
Yes, now it's just you see, there are some companies that the HR team it's not in clear partnership
Understanding
with the tech team, right? Or the senior tech management. Maybe it's a small business, maybe they just feel they can do that, right? So, but if you are in close touch with the tech team, they can able to spell out what they need, who they need, and in what kind of skill sets the person should be bringing in. Okay, let's look at this one. Cybersecurity analyst. Positions located in this. Okay, so okay. Coordinate, collaboration, cyber van, remedy, Splunk, office of automation, maps, method attack framework. Position may require traditional work schedule. BSc 8 to 10 years, PhD 3 to 5 years. So benefits, this spells out some things, but does not include any certification. So mention some tools, mention some skill set, generate reports. Are you there? Document incidents. Investigate any breach. Stay current with cybersecurity landscape. Determine vulnerability, risk, impact, and impact. Very, very important is document incidents. So if you're that type of person that says, I don't like to write to, I don't like to document to, all of this lab that Mr. Victor is talking about is just research, read. I'm not interested though. Okay. So in your job, when you're not told to do some technical documentations for something that has happened, so that we can have it in black and white. Why it happened, how it happened, what our vulnerabilities, what didn't we do, what should we be doing in the future so it doesn't happen. And you want to say it with your mouth, it can't work. So you have to document it. You have to put it in paper. Are we together?
Yes.
Because senior level executives don't understand all of your jargons. So you need to be able to document it, just like we're learning how to do now. Then you're not going to have maybe a summary, let's say a 1-paragraph summary. So that is going to tell what they are going to do, right? So, and it can also be justification for an amount you are asking for. Maybe you can be, you're asking for an amount to help you buy.
Please, can you go down? It's like they stated the amount they are paying.
What was that?
Because saw something like, yeah, okay.
Okay, you mean this?
Yes.
Yes, this is a typical amount. This is also for a junior. This is entry level role. So if you have CyberOps, you have CompTIA Plus, you have Pen Test, you have CH, you mostly cover most of the content you have here. And you do your labs, you do your research, you do your assignments, you mostly cover most of the content you have here. Let's look at the last one. Okay, cybersecurity analyst, Lagos. Job requirements, bachelor in computer science, cybersecurity related. Cybersecurity certifications are CISSP, CISA, CISM, CH, OSCP, ECSA, GCIA, GWAPT, and added advantage. Have at least 2 years or more experience in information security field. Any other information? No. Let's check one more. Cybersecurity intern. Looking for cybersecurity intern at Midgent Assurance. This Ikeja. Wow. So, VPNs, IDS. Who can tell me, who can differentiate between an IPS and an IDS?
IDS.
Hold on. Godwin.
Okay. Just as the name implies,
No, I don't want name implication, please.
Okay. Intrusion detection. Mainly it's just to detect. It does not do this thing.
You know,
It does not prevent.
in primary school, they told us when
Yeah.
we are doing definitions that we shouldn't bring in that same word into the sentence. Is it true?
Okay. Intrusion detection. It's for it to let me use like it's like we can use Splunk. It use the way our Splunk we normally use it to like capture some of the entries to capture some of the entries into our distance system. Why that of the prevention intrusion system, I can say is like the fireworks,
Firewall.
normally to monitor, yeah, fireworks, normally to monitor the traffic, and we use it to like, yeah, we need to monitor the inbound and outbound traffic,
So
and we
we
set
can
some
decide,
policy.
yes, and rules and say
Yeah,
what
we
we
set
want and what
rules
we
to
don't want.
like, yeah, to what based on, yeah, what we want, what we don't want,
Okay,
to allow the
good. Awesome.
TPC. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys an assignment. Search for 5 IDS software, search for 5 IPS softwares, and do voice notes on the group about your discovery. So you are trying to get the detail, the price, and how it works. Those 3 things: the detail, the price, and how it works. 5 IPS, or let's say 3 IDS, 3 IPS. If you want to do comparison, go ahead and do that. But drop that as a voice note on the group.
So what do you mean by the price? I don't understand.
How much is the software?
Okay, the cost of the
Yeah, the
software.
cost,
Okay.
yes. Give us price range. Malware analysis, security research. Are you there? Are you seeing that? That's what you're learning now.
Hmm?
I said that's what you're learning now.
Yeah.
So programming skill sets, Python, SQL, JavaScript, the cloud. I'm currently taking
for just an intern. These people are funny. For just an intern.
Yes, no.
I can see programming here, SQL, JavaScript, PHP,
But
Google Cloud Platform.
that's why you're a cybersecurity analyst now. Or do you think that these other ones that I didn't mention it, that is not needed? Huh? Do you think that the ones that was not mentioned, that it was not needed? So if you want to hire any cybersecurity analyst, you're going to ask the person, can you use any Linux variant? Can you program? Can you network? Do you understand cloud? Those are basics. You should know them. So if you don't know them, you go back and start learning those things. There's no patching. Because the question is, what do you want to protect? Do you want to protect a website that you don't even know how to set up? It can't work. Or you want to do a security, a case study of an attack that happened, and you don't even know how that particular application was like set up, or a slightest idea, it's going to be almost impossible. You're going to do a lot of gambling. So it's better to trash out all of those things so that your focus now will not be on the security, not on how it is being developed, what it entails, or you don't even know the difference between maybe the storage, the vulnerability you have in storage with respect to Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure. You don't know. So I'll normally tell my students, learn how to program, learn how to network, learn any Linux variant, learn cloud computing, even if it is the minimum, the least certification, right? Even if it is a practitioner, even if it is a Azure fundamentals, even if it's a essentials from Google, right? I'm currently trying to take a Google security engineer certification. I think it's by next month. I'm just even reading for it. So I have certifications in AWS, quite a number of them. We're also an AWS partner. So because if you have a project now, your project is going to involve you trying to secure something that is any of these platforms, either on regular hosting or on the cloud platform. So for you to be able to provide better input or even adapt this cybersecurity countermeasure that you have, there's no way you can do it without having this skill set. So though it's an overkill, but they might be thinking long-term. They might be wanting somebody that can learn on the job for 1 year and they can now retain the person. Okay, I think that's all. So what you're going to do is you are going to look at these cybersecurity positions that are available within cybersecurity. Same thing, you fill this and you send back to me. 48 hours, everybody. Okay, that will be all from my end. If you have questions, please let me know. 2 minutes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, sir. This the programming skills. Is it compulsory that I should know the SQL, Python, and JavaScript?
You just pick one. One is fine.
Okay.
Just pick one, and there's no harm in knowing more. But just pick one for a start and start learning.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Questions? Ben, Isaiah, Godwin. Okay, see you guys on Wednesday. So I need more than 60% of my students to turn in the labs. If you don't turn in the labs, I won't continue. If you turn in the labs, I will continue. So I'm going to be dividing, I'm going to be sorting, I'm going to be taking off the 18 off. Then I'll sort out the ones that are left. Then I'll break it and I'll tell you what we're going to be doing on, what's it called? On Wednesday.
Wednesday.
See you guys. Recording will be available
Thank you.
before midnight.